So I guess the best way I can start is when I was in honestly in preschool. Okay, first, so I went to preschool in Storm Lake, surprisingly. Yes. So I went to preschool in Storm Lake, and I the thing was, I as a kid, like as a little, like a toddler, I was a very impulsive kid. Like I would get into trouble, I would hit other people, I would hit the kids, I would talk back to the teachers, like I would make messes, throw tantrums. Like preschool was not a good place for me. It was so bad that I would try to escape the preschool. Like they had the door and I would try to escape, and then the teachers had to like lock the doors now because I would try to escape, and that's only because I wanted to see my mom. Like that's how attached I was to my mom. Like oof, like oof. True story. My mom would take me to Walmart, and if there was something that I didn't have or that I wanted so bad and I didn't get it, like I would throw a tantrum, like I would throw stuff on the floor and stuff like that. Like I would be so mad and I would scream and yell, and my mom would be so embarrassed, so freaking embarrassed, that she would have to take me out of Walmart, like literally duck her head like out of Walmart and then take me like aside, like she's grabbing me right here, and then take us to the car and then let myself cry out. And that would tell you automatically like how bad of a kid I was growing up, or how impulsive I was. And my dad while he was shopping at Walmart, he would be left alone. My dad would be like, where'd y'all go? Or like he'd be in suspense, like where'd y'all go? And mom would have to explain, we'll go through a tantrum. So yeah, growing up, very misfit kid, and it got to the point where the preschool teachers or the instructors were worried about my behavior. Like they were worried, like kids don't usually do this, or the amount of impulsivity this kid has, like something must be wrong. Like he's probably getting neglected or some shit's going down. So they ended up calling social services on my parents, and I vividly remember social services coming to our place, our trailer, and they would investigate. It was only like 2 investigations, but they investigated and they looked around and they talked to my parents, and then just after 2 sessions, after 2 investigations, they're like, there's really nothing wrong with this kid. Like from that conclusion, they're like, there's really nothing wrong with this kid. Like, he's an immigrant, like he just came to a new country. He's not adjusting well, to this atmosphere, to like the environment around him. That's why he's acting impulsive. So, after those 2 sessions, those social workers left, and then, I was able to keep going to kindergarten. I was able to keep going to preschool, and then once I was done with preschool, I went to kindergarten. So in kindergarten, I started throwing the same tantrums. I was getting impulsive. I would always sit in timeout. That's the thing, your girl was always in timeout. So that's basically where I spent most of my life, in kindergarten, timeout. And the kindergarten instructors were like, we need to see, what's wrong with this kid, or like, we want to know why he's impulsive. So they ended up taking me to a psychiatrist from the school. Like the school has their own psychiatrist, and just by being around me, she concluded that I had ADHD. And so the kindergarten instructors told my parents about it. And my parents, they're Latino, they don't feel comfortable giving me medication for ADHD. They didn't want to, because in Latino culture, it's a big thing not to give your kids medication because they don't know the side effects, or they just don't want their kids medicated. It's a thing. I don't know why, but it's a thing. So, without the ADHD medication, there was no way for me to like socially social control my behaviors, because impulsive behavior reckless, impulsivity. There was no way for me to fit in. Like, I was just always in trouble. And the good thing is, though, my instructors, even though I didn't get medication, my instructors were able to help me, cope, or, be able to treat the symptoms without medication. So that's basically what happened. And during kindergarten too, it was also really hard for me because I had switched so my first language is Spanish. And, from switching from Spanish all the way to English, it was really hard on me. It really was, because it was a new language to me, and that resulted in me stuttering. That resulted in me in having a speech impairment. And a lot of the kids in kindergarten wouldn't want to hang out with me because I would stutter. Like, people saw me as, that kid. And, it was really hard for me because, like, I couldn't fit in with anybody. I couldn't make friends, especially with my behavior, my stuttering. I was basically, growing up an outcast. So it was hard on me.